Welcome back to here with Goldberg. Today I'll be talking about how and why they are coming for the Poojas. You might be a little bit perplexed by the title of this video, and if you're interested, keep watching. If not, just switch it off. I really don't care. As we all know, the advertising industry, much like Hollywood, has a reticence to putting supremely attractive women in front of your eyes. This is because if a Target catalog has a really sexy woman on there, the female consumer could get intimidated or feel insecure because she doesn't look as good. That's why those women are usually very mediocre. And when it comes to Hollywood, Christina Hendricks is an outlier. Just like that Brazilian chick who was on Homeland, Greenland, Cuckland, she's extremely impressive as a specimen of the gentle sex, but she is portrayed in this docile manner. They don't try to emphasize the way she looks too much because that could become a problem, as she is not an average woman by any stretch or form. One of the best looking chicks to ever grace the screen. Now, me personally, I have a crush on Lacey Chabert for a variety of obvious reasons, but one of the best women, period, was in the 2006 film Abominable. I don't even know her name, but when the monster breaks in through the bathroom window, that is one of the most impressive chicks I've ever seen on camera, period. And that's why she's in B movies, because they're not going to make her a mainstream star, even though she's far more attractive than the alternative. And just what is the alternative, you might ask? What was that dude's name, the guy? Oh, Julia Roberts, Jennifer Aniston. In this case, we have Blue Cheese Larson and Jennifer Lawrence. Now, Lawrence looked pretty good in Red Sparrow. I would say that was her peak. But I just saw a movie she made in the last year, and unless she's lathered with makeup, she looks to be about 45. It's getting brutal. She always had that position as kind of the girl next door. If you were a normie dude and you simped enough, you might end up with her once she was done having her fun. That sort of phenotype. I'm not pretending, by the way, that she's post-wall and has no value because that's a cope. I'm just saying she has gone downhill. But these women are important because they're more relatable to the average Becky who's going to watch some show on Netflix or go to the theater, whatever it might be. And it's not exclusive to the United States, mind you. So, for those you don't know, when it comes to South Asia, we talk about a Priyanka. That's going to be like the top 5% of women. So, Aishwarya Rai would fall into that category, at least back when she was a little bit younger. Then you have the vast majority of them, which are called pujas, that can be below average, average to slightly above average. And there is another category at the very far end. I've never seen one, but supposedly they're called untouchalas. Don't quote me on that, though, because I'm not the expert. Priyanka Chopra, even though her name is Priyanka, she falls into the puja category. She's pretty, but she's not quite in that top 5%. She would be around maybe a Shraddha Kapoor, attractive, but also relatable enough for a variety of reasons. In her case, she has a prominent nose. She is a little bit darker in complexion if she's not wearing all these special enhancements and filters. And that means for the vast majority of South Asian women, she has more credibility. Like they can see themselves as her more readily than an Aishwarya Rai or another Northern Indian woman who looks closer to Italian European type. But Priyanka Chopra is also the first Bollywood actress to make serious inroads when it comes to Western media. And this is very important. I believe it's being done for a reason, as we will proceed to understand. Now, earlier in her career, she did this movie called Pyar Impossible, which is filled with black pill themes. You got the nerdy kid who's obsessed with this chick who doesn't pay attention to him, and she's walking drunk, ditzy, on a bridge, falls into the water. He dives in, contracts mad cow disease, rescues her, yet her friends immediately freeze him out for being a doofus, and he doesn't have the courage to express himself and his true feelings. She doesn't notice him because, let's face it, she doesn't find him attractive. Some years down the line, she's been pumped and dumped by Shad Preet. She has a 5-year-old daughter, and this guy is still obsessed with being the stepdad, the Beta Bucks Deluxe. But there's a fascinating scene where he's telling her, if you're not attractive, you can't find love. And she says that's BS. So she tries to make herself look like some nerdy Harry Potter kid and goes around getting rejected by all these different races of men. And in truth, she would get someone. She'd get a sub 5 or whatever, even if she looked like that, which she didn't look all that bad. But it does put in that, kind of emphasis as a single mom Despite making her mistakes, despite mistreating a decent man or just not paying attention to him, at the end of the day, he still bails her out, is the successful software developer, and he's going to pay her bills for the rest of her life. So that's important for the rest of what we're going to be talking about in the video. More recently, she's been able to snag some Western programming positions ever since she got on that Quantico show, which was garbage, by the way. And you might say, yeah, but she's not that successful. It doesn't matter. The audience is South Asian women, especially Poojas. Remember, Priyanka Chopra, despite being older, managed to snag Nick Jonas, who, at least globally speaking, had more celebrity and more of a renowned stature as the guy that a lot of these teenage girls obsess over. So she was able to get him. They have a kid. That's telling these pujas, you don't have to settle for the arranged marriage or the average guy who's got a government job in India. No, you can keep holding out for something better, something new, something more. But it gets even worse because this movie came out in 2023 and it's just a perfect encompassing of the tidal wave that's going to hit South Asian culture over the next several years. The guys tend to be blue-pilled in their response. They go, stop disrespecting our traditional women. Number one, they're not your women. Number two, if you allow feminism and hypergamy to take root, it doesn't matter how traditional you think you are. It's not going to prevent this whole saga from playing out. So with this picture, Priyanka plays Mira Ray. Is she like a gamma male or delta ray? She's this independent woman living in the city, not reliant on her parents, as far as we know. And she's engaged to be married, well, presumably for marriage, to this fiance of hers. But it's not Ajib, the hardworking guy who teaches you Excel on the YouTube.com and sacrifices 900 pounds of rice a week to Ganesh. No, it is in fact Tyrone, or Tyrone Light. So that's the first message to Poojas. You don't have to settle for a good Hindu boy, an arranged marriage, or maybe not an arranged one, but within the fold. You can go for the guy you're attracted to regardless, and you can go for the better looking dude. Now, as it happens, she's engaged to Tyrone, very much in love, but he dies tragically. And to maintain a connection, she keeps texting his phone. She's waiting for some kind of white noise response because she's a Michael Keaton cell. And for some reason, his phone still has service. He was probably on Cricket because they'll send you bills even if you are dead. And responses indeed start coming because this journalist guy manages to get a hold of her fiance's cellular device. And he just is enraptured by her beautiful personality and he wants to meet her in real life. So he enlists the help of Chelini Dion. Is that the same person as Stéphane Dion that was in Canadian politics? Remember, every member of this house has received a mandate from the Canadian people to deliver a government. Don't ask me how I know that. So essentially, she's getting catfished. And inevitably, she finds out. She's angry and feels betrayed. But she's not getting catfished by a 400-pound teenager eating Cheetos who lives in his mom's laundry hamper. No. She's getting catfished by this guy. This is her rebound from Tyrone. This is her great sacrifice she has to make. And you guys, oh, what's the big deal? Who really cares? It does matter, and it matters a great deal. You see, South Asia, especially India, is developing a middle class. They're growing on a global scale. They're getting more interconnected, for good or bad. If you can get the Poojas on board with feminism and hypergamy, that is the key to expanding the soy economy and by extension, soy democracy. You have to get the Poojas on board, not the Priyankas, because the Priyankas will always be simped for. They can be just provided for in the traditional sense. The Poojas are the key. These are the women you have to get on board with the female consumerism, with the careerism, with the I don't need no manism, because that's how you keep the cycle going. The simps who just try to buy into the system, bail out the single moms, the women who are always wanting the top tier men, whether you say status, looks, or a combination. And this is just a perfect example, okay? Once they get to the Poojas, that is how they will unravel tradition and destroy culture. They haven't been able to do it yet with Islam. I mean, I guess they had Mia Khalifa. But Priyanka Chopra is a great vessel for that. And so people need to wake up. The more you embrace globalism, the more you embrace consumerism, this is going to be the consequence. And once you lose the pujas, it's over for people in South Asia.